You have begun the Metronode on Professor Upsotasium's Physiotronic Audiographic Steampunk Archive, capturing images and sounds from AnachroCon 2013. In this transmission, Frenchy and the Punk.
Hello, we're here with Frenchy and the Punk. Hello, how are you doing today?
Very good. She's
you.
Frenchy, I'm the Punk.
Yes.
And we are from New York. And we're here in Atlanta at AnachroCon.
What part of New York are you from?
Yeah, I know.
New Paltz, which is 2 hours north of New York City and about a half hour south of Woodstock.
Hey.
And we used to, yeah.
Very nice. So you guys are all over the place in the con circuit, especially the steampunk con circuit, which is great. How did you get started as Frenchy and the Punk?
Well, we were actually called a different name. When we started in 2005, we were called the Gypsy Nomads. But it was sort of AKA Frenchy and the Punk, because that was our nickname. Because I'm originally from France, and he used to play punk rock back in the day.
Back in the day.
And we decided, 2 years ago, we decided to change our name to our nickname.
And just embrace it.
Yeah.
Just own it,
Yeah, you get a sense that it's a duo, and it's, I don't know, it just seems to describe us better.
Yeah.
It's a fun name. It's a fun name, too.
Playful. Yeah.
How would you describe your music?
Folk punk cabaret.
Folk punk cabaret.
Yeah, because it's got the energy and edge of punk, but I'm playing all acoustic guitars, so it's kind of like a folk element. And in the cabaret, we definitely have a heavy cabaret with Frenchy here, and the cabaret.
Now I've seen your live show a couple times. Do you feel you have a little bit of Sally Bowles cabaret going on in there? Welcome.
It's funny because I don't think we set out to be as cabaret as we are. It's like it must be like it's like a European kind of thing that I just have in me that just sort of.
Actually, I just saw your hat creeping along, so never mind.
I get a lot of different stuff. Like a lot of people think I'm a lot like Susie Sue, Chrissy Hine. I get a lot of comparisons.
Yes, Chrissy
to that
Hine. I can
kind
see
of
that
thing
influence.
too, yeah.
Okay. Now, were those favorite musicians of yours coming up? Or?
I do. I remember Susie's. Like, I wouldn't say I was a huge fan, but I was very into her look and her. And she's also half British and half French. Ironically, yeah.
Okay.
So we have a
I was
very
totally into Susie.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but I love her stuff, and Chrissy Hine, love her stuff. I love their voices too. Yeah. And actually, Jeanette Napolitano from Concrete Blonde, I always loved her voice too. Yeah.
Now, how about you on the musical, the instrument side of things? What were your influences coming towards this?
Let's see, coming towards this, or when I first started, I started right off in like the punk hardcore scene up in Massachusetts, and I think what got me into everything was the Ramones.
Oh.
I heard the Ramones like on college radio, left of the dial, and oh my God, this is great. I had parents that were totally into gypsy jazz and stuff, and it was really cool. That was an influence, but it was really when I heard the Ramones, Motorhead, I was in Black Flag, Social Distortion, GBH, that kind of thing. Then I kind of got into the speed metal kind of stuff.
And how did you two meet and decide that you were going to do this?
New York City.
New York City in '98.
Okay.
She was an artist, living in like an artist loft, and I was a punk rocker thinking about doing more acoustic kind of stuff, switching, getting out of the band thing.
All right.
Yeah. And we met at an art opening, actually. Your art opening.
I had an art opening, and he came to that, and then I guess we collaborated on some stuff, but we weren't actually like a band or duo or whatever. And then in 2005, he was playing one of my favorite songs called "The Traveling Band of Gypsy Nomads," and there was a tambourine lying around, and I'd had some wine, so I kind of jumped on stage and started dancing with the tambourine to the song. And that's actually why we called ourselves the Gypsy Nomads, because it was that song that started it all, and it's just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It was so cool because I was doing solo stuff, and she has this cool, these cool accents with percussion. So it was just like, wow, we need to form a duo because this is really cool.
Well, I had been on stage since the age of 4 because I did dance all my life. So I think that's probably what kind of compelled me to jump on stage. It wasn't just so random, I suppose.
It wasn't completely no, it was completely spontaneous, but you were ready for it.
It wasn't like I'd never been on stage before.
Right.
So
You knew what you were doing.
A few glasses of wine, I was like, oh, let me go on stage.
Okay, so now we're here in 2013 in AnachroCon.
Yes.
And how many albums do the two of you have now?
6. We have 6 out and available. Well, 6, but 3 of them are out of print.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And a DVD.
They still
And a
count.
DVD.
And a DVD.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the album you just finished has a lot of instrumental tracks.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because that's a bold move.
Yes.
People love your music. Like I said, I've been to your live shows.
Yeah.
People love dancing to you. So
Yes.
it's a smart move, but not too many bands just putting out instrumentals these days.
Yeah, it's an eclectic, definitely. It's not,
You know what's cool is that the community is very creative, and a lot of people in this community create things. And the beauty about instrumental music is that it's a great sound to have when you're actually writing, painting, making things. It's I think it's going to do well for that.
Yeah.
And dancers too. It's great for choreography.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. When you are getting ready to, how do you decide your schedule in terms of like, okay, we need to make another album? How do you start that process? Where do you start? Do you have a do you know where you're going before you start, or you wind up there suddenly and go, oh wait, we have a theme?
It starts with an itch. It's like, man, we got to do a record. I'm getting.
Yeah, I guess in a way it's always writing. That like ideas will just come up and then
It's very organic.
Yeah, and then you just start to have some songs together, and you're just like, we should start on a record. I don't know. I guess it is kind of organic.
There's like a natural flow that happens. I mean, yearly. I think we tend to put out records in the beginning of the year. So, and we, like she was saying, we write throughout the year. But I don't know. There's just it's like a natural flow. Like we kind of feel it. We need to put out a record.
Do you get lyrical hooks in your head that I have to write this down, or do you start with a melody, or?
He just walks around with a guitar constantly, noodling or plinking or whatever you call it.
Works.
Yeah. and he'll just be playing, and I hear lyrics attached to certain riffs.
Okay.
So if I hear lyrics, I say, don't stop doing that riff, and then it'll just spiral from that. Sometimes, depending on, I could be somewhere out, like, I don't know, if we maybe just saw a movie or we're driving in the middle of the desert somewhere and suddenly a melody will pop up in my head and with some lyrics attached to that, and I'll just do it, just sing it into the phone. Yeah. So there's all kinds of ways how things come up. Yeah.
That's great. I love the fact that you're not tied down to a process. You're just kind of letting things happen.
Yeah,
and go
very much so. Yeah.
But everybody's different on how they come to that, and
Yeah.
that's always a great conversation to find out where other people are doing that, how they do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the end of February in 2013. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia, at AnachroCon. What is your convention schedule, your touring schedule, looking like for the rest of this year?
Gosh, I wish
You're pretty busy people.
Yes.
We have
MegaCon is next in Orlando.
Okay, what?
That is mid-March.
Okay, March for MegaCon.
And we
Steampunk
have
Gettysburg.
Steampunk Gettysburg.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that one. Steampunk
Yes,
Gettysburg.
In
Okay.
Gettysburg.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania.
Even better.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
You wouldn't think so, right? It is in Gettysburg.
Do you remember what month that is?
That is end of
March.
March.
End of March. Okay, so MegaCon early March.
Yes. Then-
Steampunk Gettysburg, the end of March.
Then April we have Steampunk Symposium, which is in Cincinnati.
Okay.
We have the Divine Decadence Twisted
Twisted World or
Twisted
something.
World in
New
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay.
And
Steampunk World Fair in New Jersey.
Oh yes, you got to
Yeah.
yes.
we have Spoutwood Ferry Festival in Pennsylvania.
New York Ferry Festival, New Hampshire Ferry Festival. Those are June. And we also have Comic Palooza in Texas. And that's with Abney Park, Professor Elemental, and someone else.
When is that? When is that one?
Marquis
Who,
Vaudeville.
what is that?
The Comic Palooza is in May.
In May, okay.
Yes.
So March, April, May, you have all that going on just for that.
Yes. I'm sure we've probably forgotten some.
Do we have forgotten? There's like little things in between.
Okay. So you have a website.
Yes.
Yep.
And your website is?
FrenchyandthePunk.com.
Okay.
Frenchy and the Punk as it's spelled.
Yes.
So people who want to see you and hear tracks of your music and buy things
Yes.
and follow along and be those great, fandom stalkers that we all love.
Yeah. They can
have
join
a-
the Facebook page. Just subscribe to the YouTube page because we have a lot of new videos coming
I
up.
got Twitter.
Oh, that's great. I love your videos.
And, we have a tour dates page on the website
Okay.
where there's links to the tickets, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Great talking to you. I'm looking forward to the next show, as we all are.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Have a great convention.
All right, thanks.
You have been watching Professor Upsidasium's Physiotronic Audiographic Steampunk Archive. Thanks to the staff and crew at AnachroCon. For more information, go to www.anachrocon.org. Very special thanks to Frenchy and the Punk. For information, tour dates, and more, go to frenchyandthepunk.com. Our theme, The Physiotronic Blues, was composed and performed by Alex White at thegearheart.com. Our motion graphics were created by John Adams of Blithwolf Studios. Contact him at blithwolf@gmail.com. Please stay tuned as the experiment continues.